Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be talking about books by Black authors to pre-order or new releases for 2025. I have a list here on my phone that I have been trying to get as many as possible on, as far as the date that they're going to release, as well as the author and the title of the book. So we're going to start off strong with this book called Harlem Rhapsody by Victoria Christopher Murray, and the release date is February 4th, 2025. So a little bit about the book. There's a lot of books on my list, so I don't want to go too into detail about each book, but I do want to give you a few details so that you'll know if you want to pre-order this book or not. So I'm going to give you a few details about the book, and then you can decide what you would like to do. But this book specifically is a historical fiction, and I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit of the synopsis of this one. So it says, in 1919, a high school teacher from Washington, D.C. arrives in Harlem excited to realize her lifelong dream. Jessie Redmond Fawcett has been named the literary editor of The Crisis, the first Black woman to hold this position at a preeminent Negro magazine. Jessie is poised to achieve literary greatness, but she holds a secret that jeopardizes it all. W.E.B. Du Bois, the figure of The Crisis, is not only Jessie's boss, he's her lover. So I'm going to leave it there because that says a lot about what this book is going to be about. I can't wait to read this one. And like I said, the author of this book is Victoria Christopher Murray, and the release date is February 4th, 2025. All right, the next book is called The Filling Station. This is another historical fiction book. It is by Vanessa Miller, and this one releases March 11th, 2025. So this book is about sisters Margaret and Evelyn Justice, who have grown up in the prosperous Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma, also known as Black Wall Street. In Greenwood, the Justice sisters had it all: movie theaters and entertainment venues, beauty shops and clothing stores, high-profile businesses like law offices, medical clinics, and banks. While Evelyn aspires to head off to the East Coast to study fashion design, recent college grad Margaret plans to settle in Greenwood, teaching at the local high school and eventually raising a family. Then the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre upends everything they know and brings them unspeakable loss. Left with nothing but each other, the sisters flee along what would eventually become iconic Route 66 and stumble upon the Threat Filling Station, a safe haven and the only place where they can find a shred of hope in impressive Jim Crow America. So this one obviously is going to journey through the sisters' lives and how they deal with what happened in the massacre, and I can't wait to read that one. That one sounds really, really good. And again, the author is Vanessa Miller, and the release date is March 11th, 2025. Next, we have The Unexpected Diva, and this is by Tiffany L. Warren, and the release date is January 7th, 2025. And this one is about Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield. So the synopsis says, born into slavery on a Mississippi plantation, Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield has been raised in the safety of Philadelphia's Quaker community by a wealthy adoptive mother. Sheltered and educated, Eliza's happy childhood always included music lessons to nurture her unique gift, a glorious 3-octave singing voice that leaves listeners in awe. But on the eve of her 24th birthday, young Eliza's world is thrown into a tailspin when her mother dies. So I'm not going to finish reading, but I assume that Eliza is going to have to... I was like, am I tripping? I thought her name said Elizabeth, but I guess Eliza is what they called her. But her life is going to drastically change, obviously, after her mother passes away, her adoptive mother. So she's going to go on a journey, and I believe that she goes overseas to London, if I'm not mistaken. So that one was called that one was called The Unexpected Diva, and is by Tiffany L. Warren, and the release date is January 7th, 2025. The next book that I have on the list is called Audrey and Bash, and The author is Tia Williams, and the release date is May 20th, 2025. And this is going to be a romance. If you've read any of Tia Williams' other books, specifically 7 Days in June, I believe the character was Eva Mercy Moore, and the gentleman, they eventually get together, and she already had a daughter, and her daughter's name was Audrey. So Audrey is, I believe, writing a self-help book, and she is getting help from Bash. And so I don't think she's trying to fall for him, but I believe that's what's going to happen in this book. So that is Audrey and Bash by Tia Williams, and the release date is May 20th, 2025. So the next book we have is the third book in the Skyland series by Miss Kennedy Ryan, and that one is called Can't Get Enough, and it's by Kennedy Ryan, and the release date is my birthday, May 13th in 2025. And so this is going to follow Hendrix's story. We have already gotten the story of Soledad, and Soledad was in This Could Be Us, and then Before I Let Go was Yasmin's story, and Josiah. Yes, okay, I'm right. So it was Yasmin and Josiah's story. They were a divorced couple, and I don't want to spoil anything for you if you haven't read the first book in the Skyland series, but that one is called Before I Let Go. It focuses on Yasmin and her Josiah and their relationship and how they were divorced, and they kind of start having feelings for each other again. Then the next book focuses on Soledad, and I forgot the gentleman's name, but it focuses on basically self-love for her. That one is called This Could Be Us, and she goes through a lot in that book as well, but it's also pretty much a self-help book. And then this one, the one that's going to be released on May 13th, 2025, is about Hendrix and her story, how she's dealing with, I believe, a billionaire as well as a aging mother. So this should be very, very interesting. And this is going to be released, like I said, May 13th, 2025, and it's by Miss Kennedy Ryan. The next book is called The Love Lyric by Christina Forrest, and the release date is February 4th, 2025. And if you've read The Neighbor Favor or The Partner Plot, then you know that this is sort of a continuation of that series about the Green sisters, and this is going to focus on the oldest sister, and I think her name is Violet. I believe Violet, don't quote me. And this is about how she is a widow, she's taking care of her daughter, and she, I believe, ends up falling in love with a music superstar, and it's going to focus on her story. So it's called The Love Lyric, and again, that releases on February 4th, 2025. So I believe that's the end of the continuations, because we had Audrey and Bash, which is not a continuation, it's a separate story. But if you read 7 Days in June, then she uses the same character, Audrey, and she has created this whole world for her. And then Can't Get Enough is a part of the Skyland series. And then The Love Lyric is part of the Green Sister series. I'm not exactly sure what she calls it, but the name of the sisters are called the Green Sisters. So next we have Good Dirt, and this is by Charmaine Wilkerson, and the release date for that is January 28th, 2025. So I'm going to read a little bit about what this book is about, the synopsis. So it says, when 10-year-old Ebby Freeman heard the gunshot, time stopped, and when she saw her brother Baz lying on the floor surrounded by the shattered pieces of a centuries-old jar, life as Ebby knew it shattered as well. The crime was never solved, and because the Freemans were one of the only Black families in a particularly well-to-do enclave of New England, the case has had an enduring voyeuristic pull for the public. The last thing the Freemans want is another media frenzy splashing their family across the papers. But when Ebby's high-profile romance falls apart without any explanation, that's exactly what they get. So it probably deals with her having to deal with the death of her brother. I'm just guessing, I don't know. But that one is called Good Dirt, and it is by Charmaine Wilkerson, and the release date is January 28th, 2025. So next we have Let Us March On by Shara Moon, and the release date is February 24th, 2025. And I believe this is another historical fiction. I'm not sure what the last book would be classified as, but this one, Let Us March On, is definitely historical fiction. So I'm going to read a little bit of the synopsis for you guys. When Lizzie McDuffie, maid to Eleanor and Franklin D. Roosevelt, boldly proclaimed herself FDR's Secretary on Colored People's Affairs, she became more than just a maid. She became the president's eyes and ears into the Black community. After joining the White House to work alongside her husband, FDR's personal valet, Lizzie managed to become completely indispensable to the Roosevelt family. Never shy about pointing out injustices, she advocated for the needs and rights of her fellow African Americans when those in the White House blocked access to the president. So this sounds really, really good. And that is called Let Us March On by Shara Moon, and the release date is February 4th, 2025. The next book is called Frenemies with Benefits by Cynthia Williams, and the release date is February 11th, 2025. I believe this is part of a series for this author. I have another one of her books. I don't remember what it's called, but I believe it deals with small town romances with the main characters being Black. So that one is called Frenemies with Benefits by Cynthia Williams, and the release date for that is February 11th, 2025. So next we have another romance, and it's called Catching Feelings by LaJill Hunt, and the release date is January 21st, 2025. And I'm sure that this one deals with three siblings. I'm not sure if it focuses on one specifically, but I remember reading that it does focus on three siblings. The male being the one that he's not sure exactly what he wants to do, and also one of the females may not be happy in her marriage. And then I'm not sure exactly what the storyline was for the other sibling, but I believe it was a female. So I think it's two females and one male. And that one is called Catching Feelings by LaJill Hunt, release date January 21st, 2025. The next book is called Gold Coast Dilemma by Nana Malone, and the release date is April 29th, 2025. So I'm going to read a little bit of this one because I'm not sure what that one focuses on. And it says, during an opulent publishing party, Focia Addo crosses paths with Cole Drake for the first time. Their flirtatiously witty exchange culminates in a kiss that etches a permanent mark on both their hearts. But Ofocia's identity as a Ghanaian heiress comes before Cole. She loves the vibrant traditions of Ghana's Gold Coast, and her hand is already promised to a man that even her overbearing mother loves. Yet when her big Ghanaian wedding transforms from a fairy tale into a spectacle, she's thrust into a whirlwind of heartbreak and self-discovery. So that is called Gold Coast Dilemma, and it's by Nana Malone, and the release date is April 29th, 2025. And that sounds like it's going to be very good, going into the roots of that culture and whatever she's dealing with, probably trying to break away. Again, I'm just guessing, I don't know. But yeah, that sounds interesting. So next up, we have No Ordinary Love by Maya Ariel, release date April 1st, 2025. And she released When I Think of You last year, and I can honestly say that was one of my favorite reads of 2024. We're not done yet, but I love that book so much because it felt really real, but it also dealt with movies and film, and that's something that I would love to dive into. So this one is called No Ordinary Love. I'm going to read a little bit of the synopsis to give you guys an idea of what this one is about. It says, Ella Simone's pop star life is what dreams are made of. Her 8-year marriage to renowned music producer Elliot Majors has helped garner the hits, awards, and adoring fans to prove it. But when Ella tires of Elliot's many infidelities, She decides to fight for her independence despite the ironclad prenup that threatens her career. So that gives you an idea that she is a woman in a marriage that she's unhappy with, or she's unhappy with her partner, and she decides to go ahead and step away and maybe become happy. I know that people have already received arcs of this one, but I haven't looked at any videos because I'm also excited to read it whenever it comes out. So that one is called No Ordinary Love by My Ariel, release date April 1st, 2025. All right, the next book we have is called Blood in the Water, and this is by Tiffany D. Jackson, and the release date is July 1st, 2025. I'm not sure what this entails, so I'm going to read a little bit of synopsis for you guys. This one is Blood in the Water by Tiffany D. Jackson. Brooklyn girl Kaylani McKinnon feels like a fish out of water. She's spending the summer with family friends in their huge house on Martha's Vineyard, and the vibe is definitely snooty. Still, there are beautiful beaches, lots of ice cream, and a town full of fascinating Black history. Plus a few kids her age who seem friendly, until the shocking depth of a popular teenage boy rocks the community to its core. Was it a drowning, a shark attack, or the unthinkable? Murder. And y'all already know I love Tiffany D. Jackson. All of her books I have sped through. They are very, very quick reads, and they're always good and very insightful. And they have just so much knowledge in them. So I'm super excited to read her next release. And it is a YA book. And like I said, the title of the book is called Blood in the Water. And it's by Tiffany D. Jackson, and the release date is July 1st, 2025. The next book we have is called Plus Size Player, and this is by Danielle Allen, and the release date is June 10th, 2025. So Plus Size Player, I'm not sure if it's a series, but I know that she released Curvy Girl Summer this year. I did pick up the book. I have not read it yet, but it's about a curvy girl, obviously, in her summer, and I've heard great things about the book, so I'm excited to jump into it. I might jump into it soon, actually. And Plus Size Player, that is probably, maybe it's dealing with another character in that book. That book is Plus Size Player by Danielle Allen, and it releases June 10th, 2025. So the next book is called The Love Simulation by Etta Easton, and the release date is March 4th, 2025. So this author also released The Kiss Countdown. She released that this year, 2024. Again, it's another book that I have not jumped into, but I do have the book and I am excited to jump into it. And that one is about a party planner and an astronaut, I believe, and how they end up getting together. So I'm going to read a little bit off the back of the book about the love simulation. So it says, Brianna Rogers has been told a time or six she needs to stop jumping into things head first. But when the principal rescinds his approval for a library upgrade, deciding to spend the money on a football field instead, she sees red. Literally, Brianna throws her hat in the ring and joins a team of teachers who will spend their summer in a Mars simulation. As the sister of an astronaut, this should be easy, right? What she didn't count on was the last-minute addition to the team, Roman Major, science teacher, son of the principal, and too handsome for his own good. So obviously, her and Roman are probably going to get together, and that sounds really cute. It also sounds like she's the sister of the astronaut from The Kiss Countdown. Possibly. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I haven't read the book yet. But again, that is going to be The Love Simulation by Etta Easton, and it releases March 4th, 2025. So I'm excited to jump into that one. The next book we have is called This Could Be Forever by Ebony Liddell, and the release date is May 20th, 2025. And this is the author who wrote Love Radio, and that was a YA book about two teenagers kind of from different sides of the track. The girl goes through some things in the book. Essay, I believe, is mentioned, just as a trigger warning for anybody who wants to read the book. But it was a great read, and the guy is also going through a lot of things, dealing with his mother and pretty much being a caregiver for her. But they embark on a relationship, and he's trying to get her to fall in love with him, I believe. So it was a very cute YA read. And this one is called This Could Be Forever. I'm not really sure what this is about, if it's going to be a YA book or not. So I'm going to read a little bit of the back of the book for you guys. Deja's got a plan. The first in her large family to go to college, she wants to study chemistry and sell natural skincare products like the ones she already creates from plants grown on her family's North Carolina farm. It all starts with the Onward Bound summer program at the University of Maryland, the summer before school officially starts. Raja's got a dream. His traditional Nepali parents want him to study engineering and settle down in an arranged marriage. But his passion is art, and he wants to open his own tattoo parlor one day. In the meantime, he's apprenticing at a tattoo shop in College Park, Maryland. When Deja walks into the shop where Raja's working, they both start crushing hard. So it does sound kind of like it's going to be another YA romance, and that sounds interesting. So I'm excited to read that one. I love Radio. It was a great book. So I'm sure this one will be good as well. And again, the title of this one is called This Could Be Forever by Ebony Liddell. The release date is May 20th, 2025. So the next book is called If You Stayed by Brittany Cherry, and the release date is April 22nd, 2025. And I'm not sure what this book is about, but I believe it's a continuation in the series. I don't know if you guys have read Silent Waters, but it has that book in it. And I'll try to put some other books that are in the series as well. I have the first couple of books in the series. I believe The Fire Between High and Low is also in the series. I don't remember the first book in the series, but it is probably a continuation of the series, and it has a character probably from those books in it. And again, that book is called If You Stayed by Brittany Cherry, and the release date is April 22nd, 2025. The last book that I want to talk to you guys about is called Mainline Mama, and that is by Kiana Harris, and the release date is February 11th, 2025. And this is the only memoir on the book list that I have. So I'm going to read a little bit about this book from the synopsis. Kiana and Jason met as young teens. Only 14, Kiana had never had a boyfriend before, dreamed of attending Spelman to become an obstetrician, and thought she was grown. Within a year, she was pregnant, and Jason was in prison, convicted of carjacking and sentenced to 22 years. Overnight, Kiana had become a mainline mama, a parent facing the impossible task of raising a child while still growing up herself with an incarcerated partner. In this devastating and triumphant memoir, Kiana recalls her harrowing journey as a mainline mama, from learning to overcome the exhausting difficulties of navigating the carceral system in the United States, to transforming herself into an advocate for other women like her. So this sounds like nothing I've ever read before. I've never even heard this mentioned before, although I know that people do go through these types of setbacks in life. So this sounds super interesting, and I definitely want to get into that book. And again, that one is called Mainline Mama by Kiana Harris, and the release date for that one is February 11th, 2025. So that concludes all the books that I have on the list that are being released by Black authors in 2025. So if you know of any more books, please leave them down below in the comments. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm always searching for books by Black authors, so I hope this helps someone. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.